How's it going, everybody? Common Sense Courier coming at you. Thanks for joining me. We are going to be doing a VP 2024 bracket, and I'm going to give you my these are my 8 picks. And yes, there might be a few in there that need to be changed out, but this is just I'm going to have a little fun here, and there's several in here. Obviously, you've heard of almost everyone. Maybe a couple you haven't, but we're going to go over them real quick. This is my Trump VP bracket, and we're gonna whittle it down. Let's get to it. Let's see who wins the battle. Since it is bracket season, let's see. So we got number 1 seed on the on the left side here. We've got Kristi Noem, governor of South Dakota. We've got Marco Rubio, number 4 seed, is going to battle her. Vivek Ramaswamy coming in at number 2 seed versus number 3 seed Kari Lake. That's right. I threw her in there because I think it's intriguing. We'll get to that in a second. On the right side of the bracket, we've got number 1, in my opinion, would be Tulsi Gabbard. And then we got Mark Robinson. This is number 4 seed, but he's a long shot because he's got a lot going on. He's running for the governor of North Carolina. But I just love this guy. I mean, this guy is solid. And then Sarah Huckabee Sanders out of Arkansas versus she's number 2. And then we've got Tucker Carlson, infamous Tucker Carlson. I rank him at number 3 on this bracket. Lots of talk surrounding all these folks. Plus, there's several more that could be in this bracket. We could have a 32 person bracket, but we're just going to go with 8 and have a little fun. All right, let's go off with, let's go down here to the 2 versus 3 seed, Vivek versus Kari Lake. This is so interesting because Vivek put up such a really good, I thought a good campaign. He was clear. I don't think people were used to him, though. I don't think he caught traction because he was like overly polished. I mean, he was constantly just, he's very well spoken, but people didn't gravitate to him because I think of the lack of experience. Now, you've got Kari Lake, on the other hand, who's got experience for sure. She was in that heated governor race, which who knows how that turned out. And there were, questions about legitimacy of that election. But she is a former TV news anchor, and so experience-wise, she doesn't have a whole lot either. But she's very well spoken and very, very sharp. This is a battle of the minds. Both of these, in my opinion, are very intellectually dominant people with just a vast amount of knowledge in their respective fields. Kari Lake has seen the media coverage. As a matter of fact, that's her story. Is she said enough is enough. I can't do this anymore. And so on a close battle, I think Kari Lake advances. I mean, this is a close, last second shot battle. Kari Lake advances into the semifinals. Let's go over here to number 2 versus number 3. Sarah Huckabee Sanders versus Tucker Carlson. Wow, Sarah Huckabee Sanders has done a fantastic job in Arkansas of bringing in common sense policy and transparency to the people of Arkansas. She's really done a great job, in my opinion. Has a strong background with her dad, Mike Huckabee. He's just a quality individual, always comes across that way he has a television show on TBN. And then you got Tucker Carlson. I mean, he's been everywhere. He interviewed Putin, went to Russia. One of the only ones that was able to do that was at Fox News, got ousted, and now he's running his own network, Tucker Carlson Network. Just a powerhouse, intellectual as well. Woo, this is a tough one, folks. This is I think because of notoriety, Tucker Carlson's going to come out with about a 4-point win in the game versus Sarah Huckabee Sanders, where we had a buzzer beater over here. Kari Lake was down 1, and she had a last-minute shot, and she won. I think Tucker Carlson's going to win by 4 points. Tough battle, but at the end, sunk a few free throws and made it happen. So let's go with, on the left side, let's go with Kristi Noem versus Marco Rubio. Now, in my opinion, Marco Rubio could potentially bring, the Latino vote into the picture. But I think the Latinos, I think that they are already primarily for Trump. These Latinos are hardworking, common sense oriented people who can see what's happening to this country, the country that either they just came to or that they've been here having great success in for quite some time. I think that Trump already has the Latino vote, so I don't think he's going to add much to that. He's a little bit more career type politician, whereas Kristi Noem, excellent, outspoken. Again, much like Sarah Huckabee Sanders, has brought common sense policy to South Dakota. Very well spoken. I think she edges out Marco Rubio in a fifth. Well, doesn't edge him out. I think she gets a 15-point win in that game. Final score there would be 80-65. The final score down here would have been 64-63. Final score over here 74-70. And now we go to the last 1 versus 4 in the bracket. Tulsi Gabbard versus Mark Robinson. Now this one, if Mark Robinson was not in the actual governor's race this year, I think he would be an excellent choice. Man, powerful, God-fearing man. This guy brings the thunder when he speaks. Just YouTube him and just hear what he has to say. But then you got Tulsi Gabbard, who's actually, I believe, a Democrat, but who has really gravitated more toward conservative common sense principles. I think she would be a huge asset in this race. Just imagine if a president picked a vice president that was a Democrat. Talk about really, really flipping the tables. So I think in this one, because of all that's going on with Mark Robinson, I think Tulsi Gabbard goes ahead and runs a 10-point win on him. And look at the matchups we now have in the semifinals. Tulsi Gabbard versus Tucker Carlson, Kristi Noem versus Kari Lake. Wow. Whew. Any 4 of these, I think, would be good choices. But let's start over here. Tulsi Gabbard, I think she is going to edge out Tucker Carlson. 2-point victory, 80-78. I think Tucker is great at what he does. I think he's fantastic at bringing the truth to people. I think he does it very well. He speaks very well. And I think he's gonna run out of steam in the semifinals. People like him for what he does. I'm not sure if they'll like him as a VP. I think they'll like him for what he does, because think about it, as a VP, he would essentially disappear, as most VPs do, except for Kamala Harris, who seemingly always puts herself in the spotlight, saying something that is off-key or laughing or whatever it may be. But most VPs literally just disappear. They're behind the scenes, and I don't think that's Tucker Carlson. I think he's a forefront guy. So I think Tulsi Gabbard edges him out. Now we go over here. This is a knockout. We're going to overtime on this one. We tied at 70 all in regulation. We're going to the first overtime. Kari Lake is as equal to Kristi Noem in terms of intellect and clarity of speech. And I think they both have the same strong principles of common sense backing them. And the only difference here is we go to double overtime. They tied after first overtime, 77-77. We're going to double overtime, and Kristi Noem edges out Kari Lake 85-83. Her experience running a state has proven beneficial in that double overtime victory. So that sets up the championship. Here we are, folks. Who is my pick for the 2024 Trump vice presidential pick? Well, good news, I guess, for women out there. I think it's going to be a woman this year. I really do. I think there's just some excellent, strong choices. Now, either one of these, I think, would be fantastic picks. Kristi Noem, I think, just relates so well to people and has a way of exposing the left-wing idiocy by just really straightforward talking. And not only that, but policies that back that up. South Dakota has done well. They were one of the few states that pushed against the pandemic restrictions and kept her people going. And what a hard state to do it in. They don't exactly have the best weather there. I mean, you live there, you're used to it. But you get 2-3 months out of the year that's pleasant. The other 8-9 months out of the year, pretty cold and conditions up there. So Tulsi Gabbard, though, wow, what an interesting candidate she would be. Very well spoken. Brings the Democratic. I think she would bring some Democrats to the party. Whereas Kristi Noem is obviously going to be galvanized with Republicans, but I think Tulsi Gabbard would bring some extra votes in, and I think Trump sees that. Gosh, folks, this is a tough one. This is a hard call. This is a tough pick for Trump to see what he would do here, but I think At the end of the day, he's going to leave Kristi Noem in charge of South Dakota because he needs good governors. And I think he's going to pick Tulsi Gabbard as the 2024 vice presidential candidate. That's my take, everybody. Let me know what you think in the comments, and thank you for watching. I appreciate you out there. All right, have a good one.